Nerd Lag Game Club. Welcome to the Nerd Lag Game Club podcast. The podcast gives us a chance to step back and play a game with friends. I'm Corey, and I'm joined with three party members today: Lauren,
Hey.
Tonsa,
What's up?
and Dan.
Hello.
In this episode of the Game Club, we're exploring a bioluminescent world and playing 2016's N.E.R.O, or Nothing Ever Remains Obscure. N.E.R.O was developed by Storm in a Teacup and published by Soedesco. A Storm in a Teacup hasn't developed very many games, and this one seems like its biggest release. This was our in-between game pick for the month of February, and Lauren has played this game before, so how about you give us a brief summary of the story?
I suck at doing that. Could somebody else tell the story?
Maybe you can't just get a brief summary?
No.
Alright, Dan, give us a brief summary.
Dude, I'll be 100% with you. I don't really know what the story is.
Oh, gosh. Starting off good. Tonsa, can you give us a brief summary?
Play as a guy going through and doing puzzles. Mainly the story is just dealing with grief, loss. You meet a wandering spirit, no. Do you play as the guy or you play as the kid?
You
play
play
as the
Exactly.
You play as the kid.
Yeah. Play as the kid helping what turns out to be your father navigate grief without you and your mother. That's basically the plot of that. And they tell it in a weird way.
Yeah, it's told pretty odd, but that's essentially what it boils down to. What?
It's told like it reminded me of whenever we played Edith Finch. How all the story stuff is like on the screen and like words.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like highlighted words that you can read as you
Yeah.
walk around.
Yep.
Before we get into the game any further, I want to give the spoiler warning. So if you want to play this game, then I recommend playing it before listening.
I think we just spoiled it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the whole point of that game.
Yeah. With that being said, who wants to talk about gameplay and mechanics for N.E.R.O?
I mean the gameplay is pretty basic, I would feel like. You have like a little charge ball thing that you can shoot to interact with the puzzles around the world.
Yeah, it's you basically walk around, and then you have like a run button that you get a little later.
Mhm.
And the world is designed as like you travel and you kind of like see things like the environment, and then you'll stumble across a puzzle which is usually highlighted in like a blue or orange. Like they remind me of like lights that you'd put in like a game room.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
Um, Once you solve the puzzle, it gives you like usually gives you like some sort of dialogue explaining like more of the story or like what's about to happen. But yeah, you get like the magic casting, which interacts with certain pieces of the puzzle. And then eventually you get a companion, which you can use to complete puzzles as well.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
For the most part, the gameplay it's pretty much a walking simulator with puzzles thrown in. I don't think it weighed heavy on the gameplay itself. I think it's the story and the art direction that seems to be strong for this game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So gameplay mechanics section will be a little short this week, but we're gonna jump into art and music. How about Lauren talks about this because that's the reason she likes this game so much? What part of it?
So a lot of the world is, for instance, like you're in a cave. A lot of it's very dark, but with like bioluminescent features to it. So I always describe it as like when he goes through the forest in Avatar and he like touches all the plants and they glow. It's definitely my favorite thing about the whole game. There's a scene where you're walking across a bridge and there's a very bright jellyfish going through like basically the sky.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a flying
that
jellyfish.
that
Oh
is the
yeah.
best part of this game.
It's beautiful. Like I would love to see this like same art style but like updated graphics.
Yeah, and
I
like
would love I would love a game with these like this art style. Like it's by far my favorite art style of probably anything is when they do dark with like bioluminescent colors.
yeah, with like modern day graphics.
Mhm.
I think that would be cool, and then throw this in VR.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be a really
It would
cool
honestly be a better,
experience.
it'd be a way better game with VR.
Definitely. I'd agree with that. And there's like giant caterpillars and they also glow. They're like stripes are like glowing. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, this game's art direction, it uses, as Lauren mentioned, a very dark environment. Um, and anything of importance is highlighted, usually in blue, yellow, red, stuff that's really gonna pop with a dark background. That's something I really appreciated the way that things looked throughout the game. There was areas like a little later when like you're in the hospital that I felt was a little too dark.
Yep. I'd agree.
And you have to get like right up in the corners of like the rooms and stuff to like see everything. I don't know if maybe I just had my settings too like dark, but
Probably everything
Y-
looked fine for me.
Yeah.
yeah, there was like parts where I was like exploring that hospital and like I'd go into like a room and I'd be like I can't even see like the back two corners, so I'd have to walk like all the way into the room and just to look to see um as because as you're playing you're supposed to be collecting portions of a photo in each area that you're in, and that's why I was looking around like the way that I did, because I was like, oh, I want to try to complete the photo, and it was just really dark. I had that issue
Did
in the forest, I think, as well.
did you finish the photo?
I finished one of the four,
Oh, okay.
and then I had two that I needed one more piece that I apparently missed at some point. And then in the forest, I was getting like hell lost. I was like, did I touch this already? Like, was I already in this area? So I think I had like three or four of those pieces that I still needed.
Also, I forgot to mention, but on your path, the story is being told as glowing letters, like just floating, or on like a wall or something like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed for that portion that anything that was dialogue between the characters were blue,
Yeah.
and anything that was like just telling you about the environment or the setting, or like stuff to advance the story, I think was done in yellow.
No,
No,
it
not
was like a
yellow,
purple.
purple.
Yeah.
So it was cool just because you could like change, like you knew like what something was. Like if you seen that it was blue, you're like, okay, this is dialogue between the characters.
Oh,
And then
oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was also gonna say I forgot about this too, but they talk about how instead of like using like artificial light, they use the resources. So you'll see in like one of the villages, they have the lanterns outside of like, the houses that have the jellyfish in them as the light.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
I
also
thought that.
use what looks like a butterfly or like a moth in some of those little lanterns outside of the houses.
Mhm.
And they talk about how they use the environment inside of the houses so it still looks like people are living there, but there hasn't been residents for like ever. One of my first like things that I really liked was the jellyfish, but we kind of already touched base with that. So my second one that I really enjoyed was the fact that as the narrator is telling a story about the stories that the dad would tell the child, it's the world that you're exploring. It's the first two levels.
Mhm.
So the dad would tell David, which is the kid, which is who you're playing as, a story about pirates in a cave. And the first level is a cave in like a pirate village.
Mhm.
And then he talks about the forest, which is the second level. That was another story that he would tell David, which is kind of cool. That as you're exploring this childhood stories that you got told are how you're playing, I guess.
Yeah, it's the environment you're in.
Any favorite parts or parts that stood out? I know that Dan mentioned that he got stuck on a puzzle, so I'm curious of which
Yeah.
one that was.
Yeah. Dude, take a wild guess. What
I
do
don't,
you think was the hardest puzzle?
I don't know. I didn't really struggle with too many of them.
Oh. So it was the cube one at the very end.
Yep, that's the
Oh
one I had
yeah.
to look up because I got so frustrated, and when I looked
No,
it up, I felt dumb.
my thing was I thought the game was glitched, and so I like reloaded my game and like went back to it and then found out that it nothing was wrong with it. But I thought it glitched because going into the forest, like the second part, whenever it loaded like back in from like the little cutscene thing, I went to walk forward and I fell through the map, and I just kept
Oh
falling.
God.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But that cube, I didn't know what to do because I thought it was glitched because there's that podium there where you interact with it.
Mhm,
Right at like the feet of it, there's the little light like bar thing,
mhm.
but there's one on like each corner. So I was like, oh, like there's two podiums that are missing, like to rotate the other parts of
Yeah,
the
like a Rubik's
cube.
cube.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought I was supposed to make like a pattern. I was like, I can't do it because it's not working. And then there was a little pressure plate there that wasn't working because I wasn't like lighting up any parts of the cube. So I thought that was also broke.
Gotcha.
This one, I will say that this puzzle was not one that I really understood. I just
Same.
Oh,
kind
it,
of
it was it was
met
pretty simple.
just messing with it. I got it like in like probably 2 or 3 tries.
Oh no, I like I said, I tried for like 40, 50-ish minutes on it before I realized like how it worked.
So what is
So
the
it's
actual solution to that puzzle?
so where you can throw your little ball thing, your little ball of light into the little holes, but you'll throw them into the holes, and wherever it goes, the light will spread out in every direction from that hole. So it will go downwards, it will go diagonal both ways, it will go left, right, and then top and top diagonals. But if there's no dot in that direction, the pattern will stop there. So you have to fill every pattern up, like every hole up, with only two lights throughout the whole thing.
Oh, that makes sense. But like I said, I like lit it up and then I moved it like twice and then it just gave me the cutscene. I was like, okay. So I didn't really know what that puzzle was, but I didn't like get stuck or anything on it.
Oh yeah, I got stuck. Yeah.
What about you, Tunza? Anything that
I think
stood out to you?
I think I got lucky. I don't know. I had a lot of issues with the game, so those stood out.
Well, there you go.
Like what?
Let's dive into those.
Playing on mouse and keyboard was awful. Like, I mean, awful. Like,
I didn't
just
think it was that bad.
my right click didn't work, so I couldn't figure out anything half the time. So I had to go down the stairs and get a controller. And then I got the controller, and I was like, this feels like I made this game for a high school project. But the story's good. Everything else, I was struggling with. There's certain points when you like walk next to a rock, I get launched in the air forever and have to reload.
I think Lauren had something like that when she was playing at the beginning. She like fell through a building to like a lower area or
Well,
something.
that last
Yeah.
bridge, I was walking across, and then I just floated into the sky and just kept floating and floating until there was nothing there. And I was like,
My
oh,
mine was one of the picture like pieces you go and get. You go up these stairs, go up the rest of the stairs, and it's on like almost like a balcony. And when I went to come down, it just launched me in the air. I was like, "What? What just happened?" But I only had that issue, and there was like one scene, like one part of the like game where I had a red line across the bottom of the monitor.
I also
But I
had that.
Yeah, I didn't know if it's just an issue because it's a PS4 game and we were playing it on the 5 or what. Because that was the only time it did it was that one like area and then it went away.
Did you guys have that playing on the PC? Did you have any like red? It was like a very thin red line at the bottom of the screen.
Not that I noticed.
Yeah, not that I noticed.
Yeah, and that must be just an upscaling in graphics that the
Yeah, maybe.
PS5 tries to do.
Good chance.
Um, I think I agree with Tonsa for sure. I think the story is the strongest part of this game.
Yeah, that and like that cutscenes are the best part of this whole my whole experience.
Yeah.
Like they just graphically stand out more than anything else in the game. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I was bored the entire game. Looked cool. The end story, I was like, all right, yeah, it feels good. And I was like, damn, we need to get a game that's not death related for a short one.
Yeah, this game is literally helping your father come to terms with his grief.
Yep.
His grief of his wife and his son.
Yeah, so the story basically starts with the father and mother, which the father's name is N.E.R.O. If you guys didn't catch that.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Him and his wife have a child named David, which has like some kind of disease that there's like no cure for. They can only be like managed, but the mother has like you start the game, she's in denial, which is part of the grief progress process. So she like goes to all these different doctors, and she's trying all these like different medicine and rituals and different things, because she said, oh, like we have to keep hope, like we can, um this is like something we can beat as a family. And as the kid like David progressively gets more and more sick, um what's the order of this? Bargaining is bargaining next? Yeah.
Yeah.
Denial, bargaining, depression, acceptance.
I think anger's in there
Oh,
somewhere too.
anger. I think second. I think it's denial, anger.
Yeah, I think so.
So after you like go through the denial phase of the game, you go into anger, where this is where like N.E.R.O and the mother begin like fighting over what they should, like how they should handle the situation. N.E.R.O is very like, we should just live with what we have and enjoy the moments that we're in. And she's very angry at the fact that he thinks like that, like he has given up basically. And she's angry that there's like not an actual solution, and like she's just all around angry. And then we go into bargaining, which this is where she gets like she's trying to do like anything in her power, basically, like save David, like you can have me or whatever. So that this kind of leads into her falling into depression, which you then find out that she is like basically just stays in bed all the time, like she doesn't do anything. N.E.R.O's like, hey, David needs you, like you have to like, spend time with him, like you never know like when he's gonna be gone. And then she kills herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know
what
if
I
you
got
caught,
from it.
but the hospital is a mental hospital.
Right, so she goes
When
to a
you're going
mental
to bed.
hospital.
And then yeah, she kills herself because he says like, "How could you do this to us?" And it's like after she died. It's like she couldn't accept it. She just finally left and wanted to be with him. Like when they both were gone, basically.
Well, David dies after.
Well, I know, but I think she was just prepared for it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she like spirals out of control.
Yeah.
Um, and then shortly after, David does end up dying from that disease. And Nero, at that point in time, says, "Well, I don't have anything left here. Like, I'm gonna meet you guys in the afterlife." And this game is basically around the idea of like getting him to not think that way.
Yeah, they'll be there. Go live the rest of your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, live out the rest of your life. Like, we'll be here when you get back. And at the very end, you climb a giant, like, lighthouse and you meet the mother again. And you, like, Nero and her embrace. And throughout the whole game, Nero is orange,
Black and
Mhm.
orange.
black and orange. And when he finally, like, accepts like that they're gone and he can move on with his life, he becomes blue and black.
Mhm.
And then you go down to the beach, you get on like a boat and you sail away and then they disappear and that's how the game ends.
Yep.
So the story's really good. It's told much better than the way I just told it, but you kind of just see how parents react in those situations. But it is definitely told in a weird way, and there's like a lot of like strange things that you kind of deal with along the way.
I feel like in the beginning they really like don't explain the story like too well. Like they kind of make it like I want to say like a cryptic kinda like where it doesn't just blatantly tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because I swear in the beginning it talks about like how there's a village and then they find like a god named David. That's why I wasn't like too sure about how the story was until like closer to the end, and then I was like, okay, I think I understand.
well, you got to remember that
The type of game.
that beginning level
Oh
is
yeah,
also the stories that they told David.
oh yeah.
So they made their child feel important by telling those stories in the way that they did. Um, but yeah, I think that's the strongest thing. That's the part of this game that definitely stood out. Besides, like the 4 cutscenes that you get that are just graphically really, really good. Um, anything about music, I don't really feel like there was so much.
No,
I feel like
no.
music was pretty just there.
Yeah, I
Standard.
feel like it was like good background noise, but it wasn't like anything
I
that
didn't even
stood out.
notice. I feel like nothing. Yeah, nothing stood out.
Well, that's what I mean by
Yeah.
like background noise. It wasn't like, oh, this is good. I'd listen to it later on. It's like,
Or like fitting. I didn't. I don't even know. Like I can't even pick a part that like changed. Now that I'm thinking back on it.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
it's
think it
kind of
really did
just.
too much.
Yeah, I think it's just the same stuff like throughout the game. Just
Mhm.
Yeah.
like a simple just, I don't know, just easy like soft background music. You hear a lot of more like you hear the environment more than I feel like the music stands out.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really liked was just at the end of that one puzzle, there's like a giant koi fish that shows up.
Yeah.
I don't think I did that puzzle.
Yeah.
That's the one
Well,
by like the
tower?
lake.
Yeah, I like and it's the circle thing.
Yep, where you have to match up the lightning.
Yeah, I hated that thing though.
Oh, definitely didn't do that one.
That one was probably actually my least favorite. Think about it. That and the clock.
Where's a clock?
I skipped the clock one because I was getting frustrated with it.
Oh wait, are you talking about the one where there's like all the pillars and you?
Yeah,
Yeah, you have
Oh, okay.
the
that's
12.
why I switched to the controller because I was getting angry.
There are 12 pillars. They're all labeled by numbers, but you can't just hit the number of the clock like to set the time. They like if you hit one, it corresponds with a different one,
Yeah,
and you have to like figure it out by like I did it by trial and error. I don't know if there was an
same.
actual way.
Oh.
I don't think there was this.
Uh,
Was
it
there?
it was really easy. I think I don't know. I just walked over to it and the clocks I passed were set to 12. So I threw one at
12,
the
10.
12 and then one at 10. And then I turned around and there's two hands pointing at like 6 and like 8. So then I shot those and it was done.
No, nope. Mine definitely weren't those ones. It was like
Yeah, I
four
don't
and
know.
something else. I had
Mine
to
was
hit.
like 6 and 4, maybe.
Oh, maybe that's what it was then.
Yeah, I don't know. It took me a minute
But
because I stepped.
but there's like hands pointing to him. So
Yeah, I know.
I
I've
don't
seen
know.
that.
Yeah, I just for some reason like you would assume that you would just shoot the ones that the clock reads all over town,
Hmm.
not that you have to click one to get another one to light up. So that was a little weird. I think one of my least favorite puzzles was the one at like the basement of the hospital where you have to shoot the little thing with magic and then you have to hit the three like switches for the electric to fill up the like the generator thing on the wall.
Yep, my timing was awful. It
The
took me a
timing
couple
is so wonky on that
I
puzzle.
I honestly just hated the mechanic of throwing the ball. It sucked. It was so frustrating. Like I took a long time on that, and just throwing like the ball, like the one on the bridge where to open the gates. It's like just to get that lined up. It's like I feel like I'm doing like ladder stalls in Modern Warfare 2, like just to get the fucking work. This game like I don't know. It's
I didn't have that issue, but I played with a controller the whole time.
no, I even switched to a controller. Still shit.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I just don't think it worked like good. I don't. I just it might be just dated.
I just
Yeah.
don't think I like the fact that it's one the ball moves really slow
And it drops. It has like a random drop.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a consistent. At least it didn't feel
I
consistent.
had to aim high.
yeah, and it would like shoot down and then like you couldn't just shoot like one and then shoot another. You had to like put your arms down, bring your arms back up
Yep.
to generate another one.
Yeah, I didn't like
Yeah. And then it was like sometimes it's like, all right, I hit it. It's not registering. And then I'll miss and it registered. And I was like, all right, I don't understand this game. It makes no sense to me.
Um, that's pretty much all I have. Do you guys have anything else for parts that stands out or favorite parts?
Yeah,
Nope.
just really the cutscenes, the story ended up being good. That's about it for me.
I don't know. I
Nothing.
feel like we kind of went through everything. To be honest with you, everything that really could stand out.
Okay. What was your guys' time to completion?
Mm,
It took me about 2 hours and 15 minutes to finish this, give or take.
Steam says 2 hours and 2.2 hours. If I had to reload a lot and then walk back
Got it.
and redo stuff.
Mine was 111 minutes, so that's what, like an hour and 51 minutes,
Yep.
I
Yep.
think.
Yeah, that's right.
What about you, Lauren?
I don't actually know. I think around 2 hours, but when I checked on PlayStation, I've played it twice and it said I have 4 hours in total, so I would assume around two each time.
That makes sense. I mean, like there's a lot of things you can skip over in this game, so like I feel
Yeah.
like your playtime will vary based on if you do all the puzzles, if you look for the photo pieces, if you actually like walk around and read all the like little dialogue and exposition, or you could just sprint through it and you could probably finish this game in an hour.
Yeah, I definitely watched when I looked up that one puzzle, the guy played the whole game and got all the pictures in an hour and a half.
Yeah, I can see if you know where they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So before we head into the last section of the episode, anything else anyone wants to talk about for Nero?
Nope.
No?
I'm fine.
I think we're good.
All right. Each episode, we go around and find out if we would recommend the game and why or why not. So, starting with Tonsa this week, or episode rather, would you recommend this game and why or why not?
This is my first no. It looks cool, but you could just show a trailer to somebody. It just bugged me. I didn't think the puzzles were all that good, and I just was like, I had so many issues with it. Between the keyboard and mouse giving me issues, getting launched in the air randomly, and then that ball not reacting. I don't know. I don't even know how much it is because you gifted me a copy. So if
It's
it's like under $5, maybe that's $3 on Steam. Or wait, no, that's a different 14. No, not for $15. It's only two. It's like 2 hours.
yeah, I think the price is a little steep.
Yeah, it seems like I said, like a school project to me. Like I think the narration would do. I think if they redid it as like a VR game and fix some of the mechanical issues, I think it'd be great. I definitely would recommend it as a VR game, not as a. It's hard to believe it's on the PS4.
How about you, Dan?
I'm kind of like in between. Like, Tonsa has a fair point about it being like $15. But I mean, I didn't have as many issues as Tonsa did, so I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the puzzles and the story. So, and if it was like 5, sure. If it was like 10, maybe. 15, no.
Yeah, I think that price is where it's at. What about you, Lauren? Still hold up to you?
Art style wise, absolutely. I like the story. Um, I mean, I have my copy that I got for $20, but it's physical. So, physical wise, if you're somebody that likes to like collect games, then I think it's worth it. Digital wise, I would not pay $15 for this game. And that's coming from somebody that actually likes the game. I would say if it was under 10, maybe. If it was under 5, absolutely. For somebody like me that likes these kind of games. But 15, no, it's too high.
Yeah, I think I'm right with you guys. I think if it's $5 or less, I would say pick it up, give it a shot. This like the story's good. I like the story portion of it, and like those cutscenes and just the environment look really good. But anything over $5 is a really hard sell, considering the game can be beat in less than 2 hours.
For sure.
It's not the cleanest with the gameplay. So yeah, if you can get it for 5 or less, I would say give it a shot. But outside of that, I would say no.
There's definitely some things they could just update it and like it would instantly become like a recommendation for me.
The only thing I will say is Storm in a Teacup is like 6 people.
Oh yeah, I looked up the guy just like a minute ago because it's like I don't like to just like not like something. It's just how I am. I usually want to say the best, but it's it just wasn't really for me. But like looking at his stuff, it's just like what they're going for. They're moving towards the VR stuff.
Yeah, saying
At
that.
least, at least, and then I think as a VR game where like you like click the move and you puzzles, like you could actually throw the ball and the orb. Like visually, they have the game down. Like that part with the jellyfish, like kind of blew me away. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, even that part where you're in the boat and like it shows the sky and stuff with all the stars,
Mm.
super good. The
Yeah,
graphically, this it looks great.
yeah.
It's
I had so much issues with the mechanics, and I mean that's but like as a VR game, like walking through the world or like point click and like you throw the ball like with the VR controller and you're exploring, looking around. I think it'd be 100 times better.
I agree.
yeah. So Storm in a Teacup, if you ever listen to this, modify the game a little bit, release it on VR, and we'll all give it a good thumbs up to go.
Yep, I agree.
All right, great. I had a lot of fun talking about N.E.R.O on NLGC, but before we go, we wanted to share where you can find us online.
First, we have a YouTube channel called Nerdlag where we'll be uploading some great content. So make sure to subscribe for the latest videos. We have a Facebook page at Nerdlag Game Club. Make sure to like the page so you can get the latest news about the podcast. You can also find us over on Twitter at Nerdlag, where we share some of the latest gaming news and stuff we find interesting. And lastly, we have a Discord at Nerdlag where you can talk to us in voice chat and join in some discussion about everything nerdy like video games, anime, movies, and chat with like-minded people. If you would like to join, ask for an invite. We also want to thank everyone that tuned in for this episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you share it with your friends. And also follow us on Spotify. It really helps.
On to final credits. This is a segment at the end of each episode where we kind of talk about what we've been playing or any gaming news that we want to talk about. So this week, is there anything you guys want to talk about?
Lauren busted out big ballin' moves.
I got a dope ass monitor. This thing is huge, and it is so nice. It's a 49-inch, like ultra wide Samsung monitor, and it replaced my 2 monitors. It takes up my entire desk, and I had to put my desktop on a coffee table next to it, but that's okay, because it is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's the most extra thing ever, but it at least looks good.
It does. You just need to come in here and just sit here and just
stare at it, let it burn my eyes out from all directions.
Just absorb this this view.
Don't worry, I'll come up and play some games on it.
Get really close to it too, like you can't see.
Yeah.
I want to play a game on it to see what it looks like.
Do it.
The 2 boys in here have been playing Lost Ark.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Lost Ark and Valorant. That's basically
and Valorant, yeah.
Seems like.
Well, and I've been playing Pokemon too.
Yeah, Pokemon consumes my life.
You know, with your stupid 8 shinies now.
I do have quite a bit of shinies now in half the time of you've played.
I know, stupid.
What's Sage at now?
I don't know, probably 100.
He'll join the
hours.
Discord and be like, "Yeah, I'm playing Pokemon." I was like, "He's played that game." Because he'll be sitting there and we're in these long sessions of games, and he's just playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I will say though, that game is very easy to log time into. You just find yourself wandering around.
Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah, I think it was done really well. My only gripe with that game is I wish you could go from one area to another without going back to the village. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like about it.
Which I think is pretty good if that's the only gripe with it.
Like this story's nothing crazy. It is what it is. But I wasn't expecting much because it's a Pokemon game, and 2, it's their first attempt at something like this, and they kind of just made the story work. But like I said, the gameplay, I'll sit on the couch for 5 hours, and next thing I know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't accomplish a single side quest, or I didn't do anything. I was just wandering around, throwing Pokeballs at stuff, and collecting material. I guess it's just easy to play. I don't know. Outside of that, I finished Lord of the Rings: Return of the King for my GameCube quest, and that was all right. It got very difficult at the end.
Oh my god! I launched Stardew Valley, and holy smokes, can you see so much of the map?
You can see the whole village.
It's crazy. I can see everything.
Can you see from your farm all the way over to
Yeah, I can literally see the entire farm wide-wise. It's wild.
All right, now
I
you
like
get
how that's the game you were like, all right, I'm gonna launch this new monitor, test this
Yeah.
out, Stardew Valley.
I get Stardew Valley, which is like 16-bit.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how wide I could see.
Well,
Well, you can see everything.
I can definitely see everything.
Well, that's good.
That's crazy. I could see from where you walk into the town all the way to the river.
That's impressive.
yeah.
It's crazy.
By the next episode of the podcast, Dan will also have one of those monitors.
I'm not gonna have one, man. I'm
Dan-
poor.
Dan, wait till you see Stardew, though.
Yeah, Stardew.
Yeah, Stardew.
Massive selling point.
Yeah. Let me buy this massive ass monitor just because I see how cool Stardew looks on it.
Yep. That's it. That's how I'm gonna market it to people.
Oh
Like,
gosh.
I like
wait
Lord,
till you
she's
see
so
Stardew on
niche.
this thing.
Like, you buy this big fancy monitor, it's like, all right, 16-bit game. I can see across the map. Best investment.
Best monitor ever. 10 out of
Worth
10.
every penny.
Anything else, guys?
No, I mean, the only thing I've been up to is playing Lost Ark and Valorant. Each game I suck at, so.
And Lost Ark is fantastic.
That's
Yeah.
funny because you were like so mixed about it the first day you played it.
Well, it's like it starts so slow.
To say,
That's the biggest thing.
I'm almost at level cap, or at least at level 50, and I feel like the game still hasn't started. Just because I keep unlocking stuff every time that like you're gonna have to put materials and like stuff into, but it's a free game. I recommend it to anybody. Free is always pretty nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if you're not sure, I get it. You give it a shot. You're not really out anything.
Nope.
Like maybe a couple hours if you don't like it.
And you'll tell right away if you don't like it. Like if you don't like Diablo, you're probably gonna hate that game just because that's like that kind of combat. Yeah.
Well, I had fun with this episode. I think we're gonna go ahead and end it, and we will see you guys at the end of February, the beginning of March, probably, for our Batman episode. And until then, see ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.